Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Today is Monday, first day of what are we going to call it? First day of championship week. I don't know. It seems weird of XFL conference championship week. That doesn't have a ring to it. The first day of the week. It's Monday. The week. How about we call it the week? No, the week should be next week if we get there. No, there can't be two the weeks. There can be two. There are going to be two the weeks. Made a decision. There are two the weeks. Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Welcome to the first day of the first the week. Where the Battlehawks are playing the DC Defenders on Sunday, and coming to you with the show every single day of the week on the week. And first one this week we're gonna do some of the UFL awards, but Jake's version. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do Jake's version of them, how I think they should go. And if they go any other way, we riot. So first thing I'm going to do, so I have this kind of all written out. All right, we're gonna do look at the UFL MVP first. I'm gonna say if there's like a Battlehawks player that can be in the running for it, and if they should win, you guys you'll understand. You'll pick it up. For UFL MVP, the two people that it could go to are Jordan Ta'amu, that's DC's quarterback. People still say he used to be a Battlehawks quarterback. Brother, that was 5 years ago and it was for like 5 games. Get over it. Jordan Ta'amu, Bryce Perkins is the Panthers quarterback. He's been hurt for a couple games. And then I think the person, if there was a Battlehawk to be the UFL MVP, it would be Jacob Sailors. Now, for Jordan Ta'amu, he's going to win it, okay? He's got, what is it, 17 passing touchdowns. He's thrown for the UFL leading 2,153 passing yards. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, I don't think he should get it based on just that alone. Yeah, 17 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's good. He's got a 54.6% completion rating, which is dog shit. To put that in perspective, if I go by the quarterbacks who have had more than 90 dropbacks, so that's going to eliminate guys like Manny Wilkins, for instance, and there's also just been a fucking 1,000 quarterbacks that have played. He has there's been 13 quarterbacks that qualify for that. Bryce Perkins, Luis Perez, Jalen McClendon, Jamar Smith, Kevin Hogan, Case Cookis, Kellen Mond, E.J. Perry, Danny Etling, Dresser Wynn, Max Duggan, Jordan Ta'amu, and Matt Corral. And it is in that order where his 54% completion rating falls. He is, or 54.6% completion rating falls, is the 12th out of 13. Again, 17 touchdowns. Can't knock that. 4 interceptions when you're throwing the ball, 284 times on 308 dropbacks. That's impressive. That is impressive. You would like to see it be a little bit more than just a hair over a coin flip. That's 155 completions to 284 attempts and 308 dropbacks. I don't know. It's impressive, but not that impressive. Like if you just look at the numbers, sure, his adjusted completion percentage and adjusted completion percentage, again, is the completion percentage, like getting rid of when you get rid of like the drop when it's his throwable, his catchable balls essentially. If you look at that, still he is 12th. With 61.9 adjusted completion percentage. And Max Duggan is at 66.3. So, sure, I get it. I don't like it. I don't like that he's going to win it. Watching him, it's like, yeah, the guy throws. He's got a lot of deep touchdowns. He's also got like just as many shit deep throws. So cool for him. It's just really, I don't know. I'm not impressed by it. Not as impressed as the number shows. The next Bryce Perkins and Luis Perez also have 9 passing touchdowns as well. For what it's worth, Max Duggan is at 4. So, sure, I guess he's going to win it. Bryce Perkins was going to give him a run for his money, but Bryce Perkins was out the last couple games and really kind of choked that away. As far as why I think Jacob Sailors should win it, which he won't because it's going to go to a quarterback. Jacob Sailors should win it because Jacob Sailors has 744 all-purpose yards. If you look at all-purpose yards, Jacob Sailors is 5th in all-purpose yards behind Chris Rowland from D.C., Deion Kane from Birmingham, Jashawn Corbin from San Antonio, and Jaden Mickens from D.C. The thing about those guys, Chris Rowland has 394 kick return yards, 114 punt return yards. Deion Kane has 421 punt return kick return yards. Corbin 252 kick return. Mickens 391 kick return, 163 punt return. Jacob Sailors has that can't be right. Jacob Sailors has 0 punt return and 0 kick return. Jacob Sailors should win the UFL MVP. He's got 744 all-purpose yards, all on offense. That is disgusting. The next closest person with 0 special teams yards is God, I should know his name. It's Sosi Mariner. It's Michigan's receiver, 528 receiving yards. He is 18th on the list, and then it is Sal Cannella. God damn, that's a weird name. With 474 receiving yards. Jacob Sailors has the most yards on offense. I would argue almost entirely with his legs of anybody in the league. I think that he should win UFL MVP. He won't. It's 499 rushing yards, 245 receiving yards. I think he should win it. He won't, though. And it's frustrating, and I don't know. Should we riot? We might not riot over that. Because the next one, again, Jordan Thomas is going to win that, and it's going to be very upsetting. For UFL Offensive Player of the Year, again, I have if I don't think a quarterback's going to win this. If a quarterback's going to win MVP, that's just how these go. Saquon Barkley should have won MVP last year, but it was Josh Allen, and I think that's dumb to give it to the guy who's more impressive. Anyway, philosophical thing. Don't necessarily want to get into it. Also biased. UFL Offensive Player of the Year. If it's any running back, it's going to be Jacob Sailors. If it's a receiver, though, it could go to a couple of people. I have my other than Jacob Sailors, I have it either being Chris Rowland or Deion Kane. And there are some pluses or minuses to either of these guys. So Saucy Mariner has the most receiving yards, that Michigan guy. Saucy Mariner. We're going to call him Mariner. The Seaman himself. That could work. Sea Mariner. He's a Sea Mariner. He's a seaman. He has the most receiving yards in the UFL. He's got 528, like I said, but he only has just the one receiving the one touchdown. Whereas Chris Rowland has 522 receiving yards, so he's just 6 below him. He also has more receptions, 42 to Mariners 31. But Rowland also has 3 receiving touchdowns, and I believe that's going to play a big part in that, and that's why I have Deion Kane being my third guy, and the guy that if it is a receiver that gets it, and Jacob Sailors absolutely gets snubbed, in that case we riot. If Jacob Sailors doesn't win any award, we riot. Deion Kane has 6 receiving touchdowns. Now, the problem with that is that it only comes off of 29 receptions. The other thing is that he's done that with 5 different quarterbacks. He's had good games, not good games. He's been able to be relatively productive. There have been games that he hasn't done as well with because, again, 5 different quarterbacks that he's done it with. But he's got 514 receiving yards, again, off of 29 catches and 6 touchdowns. So if it's not Jacob Saylors, personally, I like Deion Kane, again, biased Eagles practice squad. There's you maybe could think Justin Hall was the Houston receiver purely based on volume. He's had 62 receptions, which is by far the most of anybody. The next closest person to him is Sal Cannello with 44. So what's that? 18 more receptions than the next closest guy. So I could see that too, and he's got 3 touchdowns. But when you're comparing that to guys who have more yards and more production, I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. I just think it should be either Jacob Saylors or Deion Kane, and it should absolutely it goes. If you're, I should have said this earlier. If you're watching this, you want to listen to it, go ahead and do that. It's solid on Apple and Spotify. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, and you want to watch it, it's a solid pod on YouTube. I'm gonna do something with my hands here for the listeners. It goes Jacob Saylors is here, and then Deion Kane is here. And that's just to keep it. Let me turn my camera on just to make sure I can. Okay, so here. Let me scoot back. So this is Jacob Saylors, and then way down here is Deion Kane. If you could hear that, I said up here is Jacob Saylors, and way down here is Deion Kane. So that's where I believe it should go. It should 100% be Jacob Saylors for Offensive Player of the Year. For Defensive Player of the Year, I think this one's pretty clear too. And again, it's another Battlehawk. I don't know if they're going to give 2 Battlehawks awards though. Like especially when it's offensive and defensive player of the year. Last year we had Hakeem Butler as the offensive player of the year and Chris Garrett as the special teams player of the year. Fuck, there might be 3. Anyway, we'll get to that. This team is they got players in this league, man. They do. Okay, so the 2 people that I think that it could be aside from Jacob Saylors, Tay Crowder. Tay Crowder is the Birmingham corner, defensive back. He has, and the only reason he has 2 pick sixes, and he just got them this weekend. Now, in one game, which is good. It was a Week 10 game, and it was against Memphis, who was running out. Was it Dresser Wynn? Maybe was their quarterback. Not a good quarterback. But he had 2 pick sixes. And the reason I think that's important is because going back to last year, Chris Garrett got Special Teams Player of the Year over Jake Bates because Chris Garrett, and to be fair, he was good. He had, did he have 3 punt blocks all season? And 2 of them were in one game. So my thought there is that it could be him just based on one late game kind of thing. Like if they're going to take into account the Bryce Perkins not playing the last 2 games, I assume that they would probably take into account the Tay Crowder getting 2 pick sixes in one game, kind of a recency bias type thing, but that would be the reason that he gets it. The other person it could be is Ajene Harris, which is Arlington's safety, defensive back. Who just his whole thing is that he just has the most interceptions in the UFL. I believe it is 3. Yes, he has 3, and then he has 1 as a pick 6, 102-yard pick 6, which is the one that he had against Max Duggan in that week 4 game. I think it was that week 4 game. So it could be either of those 2 guys, purely based on their production. And Tay Crowder, again, he had the 2 pick sixes, but those are the only 2 interceptions that he had all season. So it's like, I get it, but I don't like it. You know, I get it. Impressive. He's good, but it's not 3, and he waited until the very last meaningless game against a team that had been dead for a couple weeks to do it. It's just sure. Um, Easily the shoe-in though. The shoe-in for me is Pita Tamoipenu. There might be some other defensive linemen / edge rushers, outside linebackers, whatever the hell you want to call them, that could be able to win this award. I don't think they I didn't include them on this because I don't think that they match up to what Pita Tamoipenu's got going on. Okay, Pita Tamoipenu leads the league in sacks with 7.5. All right, that's first in that. 3 forced fumbles, first in that. 2 fumble recoveries, tied for first in that. 37 pressures, and the thing with pressures, people have different thoughts on this. I think that they're important. I don't think that they're an end-all, be-all. Not all pressures, just like not all sacks, are created equal. Sometimes you can stumble into sacks. A guy just gets bumped into you. Same thing with, to be fair, that not all of Pita Tamuipenu's sacks were like super impressive sacks. But also, I should have seen the number of actual sacks like that he was in on, because if you get 7.5 sacks and it's on 8 plays, that's one thing. If you get 7.5 sacks and it's on 15 plays, that's an entirely different thing. I really, really should have looked into that first in order to just be as transparent as possible. I'm going to write that down, and I will come back to you guys tomorrow with how many plays Pita Tamoipenu's sacks were on. I'm sure that he did have several that were on his own. Pita sack, like the count. That's what I want. Count. Yeah, because I guarantee you that and I know that he had sacks that were just his own. But if you guys get what I mean. Being in on 15 sacks is different than being in on 8 sacks. Feel like that's fair. But going back to the pressure thing, not all pressures are created equal. A quarterback hurry is not as impressive as a quarterback hit, because you can just be near a quarterback, kind of like if you're making the guy bootleg out and he doesn't even have a chance of getting into him, that counts as a hurry. It's not near as impressive as being inside somebody's face. So that being said, he has 37 pressures, which is the second most pressures. That's not nothing, okay, being able to get back there. But going into it, he has 8 quarterback hits, which is tied for third. He has 21 hurries, which is tied for third. The most impressive thing to me, not the most impressive, because the sacks and the forced fumbles, that's incredibly impressive. Fumble recoveries, it's just like that. A lot of times that's fumble luck. It does require you being in the right spot at the right time. But to me, it goes 7.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, being the first in the league in that. The next one, though, is that he has 434 snaps on the defensive line, which is the most of anybody in the entire league lining up on the defense. And edge rusher is an incredibly rotational position. Now, the Battlehawks had, depending on where you look, if you look on the team stats on the Battlehawks part of the UFL page, it says they have 544 defensive snaps, or offenses had 544 plays against the Battlehawks defense. If you look on the stupid fucking PDF that the Battlehawk, or that the UFL has with the end of season stats, it says 545. At this point, it is a negligible difference, but let's say for just shits and gigs that we go with the bigger number. So 434 divided by 545. He played 79.6% of the plays on defense as a rotational player. That is absolutely batty. Let me do something real quick and look up what edge rushers in the NFL played. 79.6 is the number that we're looking for. Let me go to stats. We're going to go to season leaders on defense. We are going to go no, we don't want to do team defense. We want to go to season leaders individual. We want to go to position group. Let's go defensive line. Okay. We are looking at players that have played, that in the NFL had a higher percentage of snaps than what's his name? Than Pita Tamoipenu. and I have this as qualified defenders only. It weeds out guys who played smaller. Zach. Okay, let's see. Max Crosby with the Raiders. Derek Brown with the Panthers. Zach Allen with the Broncos. Jalen Carter. Go Birds. Chris Jones with the Chiefs. George Karlaftis with the Chiefs. Micah Parsons with the Cowboys. Aiden Hutchinson. He only played 5 games, but he's still up there for some reason. Jeffrey Simmons. Zach Sealer. And that is it. There are 10 people in the NFL on the defensive line that played more than 79.6% of the snaps. If we go to linebackers, because I believe that is what Pita Tamoipenu is considered. If we go to linebackers that did that, we are looking at there's this for some reason is not weeding it out. Anyway, it's a very you guys get my point, and I'm thinking out loud, and that was really uninteresting to listen to. And if you're still listening to it, I appreciate you. The point is, Peter Tamoipenu playing 79.6% of the defensive snaps is a very impressive thing. He should win NFL Defensive Player of the Year, hands down, in my book, over a guy with 3 interceptions and a guy with 2 pick sixes. Okay, going into Special Teams Player of the Year, there are only 2 in my book. I was looking for the block punt thing because there's precedent that Chris Garrett won it last year. And he because he was blocking punts and blocking kicks and stuff like that. Nobody really had that kind of a thing. So this really comes down to 2 people. Matthew Sexton, I believe, is DC's cat. He might be San Antonio's guy. He's San Antonio. He returned a kick. He returned. He was the only person to return a punt. And nobody returned any kicks or anything like that. So the only person to return a punt the entire season was Matthew Sexton. It was an 83-yard punt return. Other than that, the other person that it could be is Rodrigo Blankenship. 21 out of 22. He tied, which is the highest field goal percentage. He tied the long of 56 yards. And the other guy who had a 56-yarder is 11 for 16. It's got to be Rodrigo Blankenship. The Battlehawks should win 3 of these awards. As far as Coach of the Year goes, to me, it comes down to Skip Holtz and Anthony Becht. Anthony Becht has the longest winning streak, which definitely should play a part in it. Now, to be fair, they were also pretty decently high up. I can't remember what the pre-season odds were to win the championship. I should have looked that up. Maybe that's another one I'll look up. Maybe I won't get to the Coach of the Year first. But the Coach of the Year should be it's either going to be Skip Holtz or Anthony Becht. Anthony Becht, big long win streak. Skip Holtz winning. How many games did they end up winning? How many games they ended up winning their division? Were they 7-3, and he won that many games with that many different quarterbacks. And he's very hands-on with this quarterback. I think he's a better coach than Anthony Becht, so I think that he should win it. But it really comes down to if the people who are voting on this, and I have no idea who they are, care about the winning streak and winning with a backup quarterback, or Skip Holtz winning 7 games with 5 quarterbacks. That's a little bit more impressive to me. But, out of my hands. So, yeah, I think it should be Skip Holtz rather than Anthony Becht. Better coach, but there's a path there for Anthony Becht to win Coach of the Year. I doubt that they would give 4 awards to the Battlehawks. If they were smart, they would. If they wanted to absolutely pander to this team, genius idea. If they want this to not be the UFL and be at the STLFL, that would be the way to do it. I doubt they will, but, that's a thing. So, yeah, that's what I got. As far as UFL MVPs, I think Jordan Tommy wins, Bryce Perkins is up there. Jacob Saylors should win. UFL Offensive Player of the Year, Jacob Saylors will win this. Chris Rowland or Deion Kane could win it, and I wouldn't be mad if it was Deion Kane. Pita Tamoipenu should win Defensive Player of the Year because he's a monster. Tay Crowder had 2 pick sixes, and Jenna Harris had the most interceptions. Impressive, cool, great, good for you. Tay Crowder, not as impressed as what you got going on, but it should be and will be Pita Tamoipenu, Special Teams Player of the Year. They really don't have any other person to go to other than Rodrigo Blankenship. Yeah, so that's what I got. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Monday edition of the first The Week. Thank you for watching Solid. I appreciate you very much. Go Birds, go Battlehawks, go Ironbirds, cause the law. Anything that you say to anybody, they'll be able to just be like, "Oh, that's a Battlehawks guy right there." That's all that is. Like I was watering my lawn this morning. A guy. I don't think that he was going to pick up his dog shit from my yard, but his dog shit right there. And I looked at him. I said, "Thanks." And he kind of waved at me. But obviously, when I said that, he was like, "Oh, this guy's just a Battlehawks guy." That's all that is. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with I don't know, with definitely talking about the PETA sack count. Definitely that. That's what I was going to do tomorrow. Is I was going to do like a year in review of what the Battlehawks ended up doing this season, like how they compared to all the other teams. So we'll look at that. And spoiler alert, you want to make Jordan Ta'amu hold on to the ball when he throws. Because the longer he holds on to that ball, and it's, obviously, the longer somebody holds on to the ball, the worse they're going to do. But his is a big decrease in his completion rate. Man, it is vile. And he already has a low completion rate, so it's pretty significant. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.